Ladies and gentlemen and distinguished guests, it is truly my honor to be invited to speak to all of you today on the topic of future-proofing RMG, tackling automation for sustainable growth and worker well-being. It is unfortunate that, constrained by circumstances, I'm unable to join you in person. That also means you get to see my blown-up face on your screen. Not ideal, I would guess. Before I get to the business of the day, let me address the question that I suspect kept most of you awake last night. Who is Sumit Manchanda? Why is he speaking to us? Well, if you did wonder, I'm not offended. But if you did not, then I have to wonder about your commitment to today's session. Either way, by the end of the speech, I expect to have gained your confidence and left you with some meaningful inspiration. As a brief background, I currently operate as a senior advisor for green growth strategies to clients. Prior to that, I worked for 18 years with the World Bank Group, engaging with both companies and policymakers alike across the globe to address issues of growth and development. I first started working in Bangladesh, I recollect, in 2009 on special economic zones, but it wasn't until 2012, roughly 6 months before Rana Plaza incident, a day that's etched deep into my memory, that I started working more earnestly and got a chance to understand Bangladesh better. As an Indian, I already felt cultural affinity for Bangladesh. With great friends and colleagues in Dhaka, I developed a stronger bond with Bangladesh and developed deeper appreciation for its people and its achievements and the development challenges it is confronted with. I led and managed multiple projects working on topics like special economic zones, public-private dialogue, partnership for cleaner textiles, diversification of Bangladesh economy, etc. After 14 plus years of working in Bangladesh, I have earned, I believe, some credibility to be in front of you today. I hope that gives you some comfort on why you're being asked to listen to me speak. Well, with that said, on to the business of the day. So as we meet today, Bangladesh is at a pivotal moment in its history. It is at a crossroad where the future holds significant promise, but depends on the decisions we take today. Its strength is its people and its entrepreneurs. Our theme, future-proofing RMG, tackling automation for sustainable growth and worker well-being, then is not just about the future of one industry or sector, but about charting a new course for Bangladesh's economic destiny. In the history of economic development, the RMG sector has played a significant role in the industrialization of many countries. Its relatively low investment costs and capital intensity make it an accessible entry point for companies and countries looking to transition from subsistence agriculture or the informal sector to formal manufacturing. The sector often acts as a stepping stone, allowing countries to build capital and expertise before diversifying into more technologically demanding and capital-intensive industries. Historical examples of countries include the United Kingdom, where the textile industry was at the forefront of the Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries. Innovations such as the spinning jenny and power loom revolutionized production, paving the way for broader industrialization and economic growth. The United States is another example, with the Lowell Mill system in Massachusetts that became a model for industrial organization. More contemporary examples include countries like China and Vietnam that have effectively leveraged and continue to leverage technology as a further pathway into growth and development. Now, these countries are examples of how a nation can leverage its apparel sector as a pathway to future economic development, diversification, and growth. This, however, is not easy work and requires intentional strategy, planning, coordination, policy, infrastructure, and investments. This audience already knows that RMG has been the backbone of Bangladesh's economic miracle, contributing nearly 47 billion in exports last fiscal year, accounting for over 84% of foreign exchange earnings. It has lifted millions out of poverty and empowered over 4 million workers, predominantly women. This is no small feat. However, as Bangladesh approaches its graduation from LDC status in 2026, Bangladesh faces unprecedented challenges. The World Trade Organization projects Bangladesh could lose over 14% of its exports, a staggering 7.8 billion annually, due to the loss of preferential trade benefits. This comes at a time when Bangladesh economy is already grappling with political uncertainty, high inflation, and dwindling foreign exchange reserves. As if this weren't enough, Bangladesh RMG sector is also confronted with an evolving global industry with a trend towards consolidation and streamlining of strategic suppliers, geopolitical shifts that are influencing the market, scaling up of technology adoption, the ongoing and increased focus on sustainability, fast fashion with faster turnaround times, focus on supply chain resilience, regulatory changes in trade agreements, compliance, and climate legislations, to name a few examples. Now, with these global trends shaping the apparel industry, Bangladesh remains vulnerable with its fate tied to developments in the RMG sector. Bangladesh has lacked an intentional approach to evolve and leverage its apparel sector for a transition into a more complex and industrial nation. Now, as we meet today to discuss the role of technology and automation in future proofing the RMG sector, I want us all to understand that our discussion is about more than the RMG sector alone. To explain better how the fate of Bangladesh's economy is intertwined with its RMG sector, I have chosen to use one of the many economic tools and concepts out there. This is the concept of economic complexity that I suspect that some of you are familiar with. This was a concept that was developed by Cesar Hidalgo of MIT and Professor Ricardo Hausmann of Harvard University. So what is economic complexity? The economic complexity framework is a way to measure a country's productive capabilities based on the diversity and sophistication of the products it exports. The economic complexity index quantifies this by analyzing which products a country exports and how many other countries are able to produce those same goods. So why should we care about economic complexity, and why am I talking about it? Well, so improving economic complexity should be and can be a policy goal for countries because studies have linked it to positive outcomes such as sustainable economic growth, resilience to economic shocks, higher wages and living standards, innovation and technological advancement, competitiveness in global markets, and also environmental sustainability, as a more complex economy can drive innovations in cleaner technologies and more efficient resource use. Now, according to the Observatory of Economic Complexity, Bangladesh has a relatively low economic complexity score, ranking 101 out of 133 countries. This suggests that Bangladesh economy is not very complex and relies heavily on producing and exporting common, simple products. But the good news is that there's plenty of opportunity for Bangladesh to grow and invest in opportunities to increase its economic complexity and benefit from the positive outcomes of a higher economic complexity score. The RMG sector has been instrumental in Bangladesh's economic growth. We know that. But its dominance is what explains the low economic complexity score, right? The heavy reliance on ready-made garments, the limited product diversification, and low value addition. Now, I don't want anyone in the room to also take economic complexity framework too literally, because the framework has its own shortcomings. However, the key message is compelling and remains relevant. So then how can RMG sector help in improving the economic complexity of Bangladesh? While the RMG sector is a significant factor in the local economic complexity score, it also can be a catalyst for improvement. The sector should pursue product and market diversification, technological upgradation, skill development, and sustainability focus. Now, you have already heard from other speakers in previous events about some of these topics. So let me now narrow down our conversation to a discussion about technology and automation. Suffice to say, it is a key area that demands attention and focus of policymakers, business owners, brands, and development partners. Now, technology and automation play a critical role in driving economic complexity. We have learned from previous examples of the US and UK how technology in the RMG sector helped them grow and diversify. Now, embracing advanced technologies allows countries to produce more sophisticated products, increase productivity and efficiency, and drive innovation. So when we talk about opportunities to use technology and automation in the RMG sector today, what are we talking about? Clearly, these are not the same technologies that the United Kingdom and the United States, for example, leveraged. So what are these? I'm sure most of you are better informed on this than me already, but let me state the obvious ones and the more common ones. So we have the radio frequency identification, the RFID as it's more commonly known, which is used for tracking garments, managing inventory, and preventing theft. There is the use of laser technology, which is used in denim finishing to improve productivity and eliminate hazardous work exposure. We've certainly heard of robots, nanobubble technology, ozone and enzyme finishing, modeling and simulation, 3D body scanning, computer-aided design, automated sewing technology, material handling systems, fabric inspection systems, artificial intelligence, to name some of them, if not the entire list. Several countries are already using these technologies in apparel production. So Vietnam has experienced success using artificial intelligence-powered inventory management, 3D design, and virtual sampling, for example, as well as automated cutting and sewing machines. And that has led to benefits like reduced waste and improved inventory management, faster product development cycles, and increased production efficiency. India is using artificial intelligence and machine learning to trend prediction, 3D printing for prototyping, and digital textile printing. This has led to better alignment with market trends, reduced production costs, and ability to produce smaller customized batches. Suffice to say that the use of technology in countries where this has been prevalent has allowed them to benefit from increased productivity and efficiency, improved product quality and consistency, reduced waste, and improved sustainability, better responsiveness to market trends, and improved worker conditions through automation of repetitive tasks. So while Bangladesh has, to some extent, already embarked on adopting some of these technologies, continued adoption can enhance productivity and efficiency, and improve product quality, reduce lead times, and create new product and market opportunities for Bangladesh. But as we consider the opportunities that technologies present to us, both in the RMG sector, but more predominantly for improving economic complexity, we also have to be mindful. As compelling as it sounds to adopt technology and automation, it comes with its own set of challenges. There are real risks around job displacement and the skills gap that is more apparent with the adoption of technology, the high investment costs that are required to invest in adopting these technologies, and the infrastructure limitations that will then require further investments in improved infrastructure, particularly around power and internet, for example. Now, to ensure that the integration of technology and automation in Bangladesh's garment industry benefits both the industry's competitiveness and the well-being of its workforce, several strategies can be implemented. And these strategies include embracing automation while prioritizing worker well-being. This can include upskilling and reskilling of workers, but also diversifying the range of products just to ensure the offtake of skilled labor into these activities. Another strategy could be to promote a culture of innovation where investing in research and development is at the forefront of it, developing design capabilities, as well as fostering partnerships between industry and academia are at the center of it. Strategies to strengthen infrastructure that include improving power supply and scaling investments in renewable energy would be productive. Enhancing internet connectivity and developing efficient logistics networks could also be worthwhile strategies to pursue. Prioritizing sustainability and providing financial support that includes financial incentives and facilitating access to finance would be key strategies or part of the pillars within a broader strategy to pursue. And finally, ensuring a just transition for workers, which has to be a fundamental pillar as we move to adopting more technology. This would be to address the potential risk of job losses, to ensure that there's improving working conditions, that there is opportunities for fair wages and benefits. Now, to successfully navigate all of this transformation, Bangladesh will need to consider a range of interventions. That'll include developing an industrial policy which is more comprehensive and supports innovation and adoption of technology and sustainability in the RMG sector. There have to be policies to attract foreign direct investment in high-tech and sustainable manufacturing. There will be a need to strengthen intellectual property protection to encourage innovation and technology transfer. It'll be important to strengthen investment frameworks by providing tax breaks, grants, subsidies, and improving access to finance for RMG manufacturers, a better financial sector that promotes green financing mechanisms to support the adoption of sustainable and eco-friendly technologies, and the development of insurance products, for example, to mitigate risks associated with technology investments would also be important. It'll be fundamental to also undertake trade reforms as well as labor reforms that strengthen the labor laws and ensure compliance with international standards. And finally, a need to increase investments in infrastructure. Suffice to say that the agenda is vast and the amount of effort and coordination required is also vast. Now, in doing all this, Bangladesh will need to consider trade-offs and implement policy solutions. Trade-offs to consider will include issues around job displacement versus productivity gains. Automation can lead to job losses in the short term, but it can also increase productivity, create new jobs in higher skill areas, and boost economic growth in the long term. Policy should focus on managing this transition through skills development. Sustainability versus cost competitiveness is another trade-off to consider. As you adopt more sustainable practices, there will be an increase in initial production cost. However, it can enhance brand reputation, attract environmentally conscious consumers, and unlock new market opportunities, leading to long-term competitiveness. Technology adoption versus inequality is another area or a trade-off to focus on. Unequal access to technology and skills can exacerbate existing inequalities. Policy must ensure inclusive access to technology and training opportunities. So broadly speaking, what are the policy solutions that Bangladesh could pursue? These are targeted skills development programs, social safety nets, financial inclusion initiatives, as well as progressive taxation. Needless to say, these policy initiatives need to go hand in hand in coordination with the strategy that the private sector is pursuing to invest and grow their RMG sector. So in conclusion, what is it that I want to leave you with? And what I want to say is that the adoption of technology and automation in RMG is an opportunity to evolve, grow, and uplift not just the sector, but the people of Bangladesh. To resist it or to shun it is to condemn Bangladesh and its RMG sector to stagnation and reduce competitiveness. While Bangladesh has shown early encouraging signs of adopting technology, it needs to shift to a fuller embrace of technology and automation. To quote Charles Darwin, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. Bangladesh must proactively adapt, innovate, and transform to remain competitive in the global RMG market and leverage that to put itself on a trajectory of higher complexity and economic development. It cannot be underestimated, though, that the success will not be in adoption of technology alone, but how the transition is managed. By embracing automation, prioritizing sustainability, and investing in its workforce, Bangladesh can turn today's challenges into opportunities for sustainable growth and shared prosperity. I encourage you to work together, the private sector and the public sector, hand in hand, working with development partners, NGOs, and academic institutions, and seize this moment before it passes and create a brighter future for Bangladesh. RMG is the pathway, and technology is the secret sauce to Bangladesh's long-term success. I am rooting for Bangladesh and its people. I believe in the entrepreneurs of Bangladesh. With that, I want to thank you for having me today and listening to me. I hope I was able to inspire and leave you with an optimistic view of the role that technology can play in future-proofing RMG. I wish you a productive rest of the day, and thank you once again for having me.